Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today I am joined by the brilliant Sinead Torley on a beautiful sunny day as we stroll along the stunning Derwent Water in Keswick. We covered a lot of ground, both literally and in conversation, and I can't wait for you to hear it. Sinead is a working mum balancing full-time work with kids, and somehow she still finds time to volunteer for the International Institute of Business Analysis. She's even set up the first Cumbrian Business Analysis Network. As two business analysts, we geeked out over the tools of the trade, had a bit of a rant about PowerPoint, and swapped stories about the human side of introducing change into businesses. Sinead's also working on an exciting service definition project to help clarify the role of business analysts, a tool that will make it easier for BAs and stakeholders to communicate and understand when and how to get us involved in their projects. We also chatted about life beyond work, work-life balance, and of course we bonded over our love of podcasts. So grab your sunglasses, settle in, and join us on this sunny walk around Keswick as we dive into everything from business analysis to the little things that make life fun. Hi Sinead.
Hi Sakanya.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Thanks for meeting me today.
No problem, my pleasure.
So Keswick, I've not been to Keswick for the longest time, which is probably why I parked in the wrong car park. So it could have been worse, I guess.
Yeah.
So how's your morning been?
Good. So it's summer holidays now. Obviously working mum, so I've dropped them off at the kids' club this morning.
Oh, okay.
Trying to do a bit of balancing act between working and childcare and spending some time with them as well.
Yeah, it must be really hard because you're pretty busy with work, aren't you?
Yes, I work full time as a principal business analyst consultant, but it is very flexible, which is really good. But yeah, I work full time, and then I do some volunteering as well within business analysis, for the IIBA, and I also founded the Cumbria BA network as well, which takes a little bit of time keeping that going as well.
So what does IIBA stand for to start with?
The International Institute of Business Analysis, so it's actually global, but they have different chapters. So there's the obviously UK chapter, and then within that there's about, I should know, probably about 7 or 8 other chapters. So I'm part of the North branch, which actually covers anywhere from about Sheffield up to Scotland.
So
it's quite wide reaching. So I've just started volunteering for them, I think about November time. And part of that was to try and see if we can help get some more events closer to Cumbria, because everything tends to be like York, Manchester, etc.
Yeah, we always take the travel tax.
We do. And that was another reason for doing the Cumbrian BA one as well, just trying to get some more things in a bit more of the local area. Like you say, trying to do that travel, because even between Cumbria, it could be a good hour and a half from north to south, couldn't it? Sorry I missed the in-person meetup. How was that? Oh, that was really good. I think the weather wasn't on our side that day. It was like a downpour. So we did that in Carlisle at the Cumberland headquarters, which was they kindly hosted us, which was really nice. With Sarah and a few of her team from the Cumberland. And myself and Magda. So we met up with a little buffet, which was nice. And,
that's nice.
True Cumbrian culture, made a cup of tea. And we just had a chat, really. We just repurposed it. Originally, Sarah was going to do as a presentation, but we'll save that one in the backlog for another time. So we just all got together, really, and had to get to know each other a bit. Like I say, it was our first in-person one, so nice to actually put names to faces and meet people in person. Had a chat about, just about getting to know each other a little bit, and then about our backgrounds. Then because we were in the Cumberland headquarters, it was really quite a nice place. So Sarah was giving us a bit of background on when she actually worked on that project, which was interesting. because I was working on a similar project for a new building opening for a university, so we were comparing some notes as well on that, which was nice. We just talked about BA community. I think we've discussed things about qualifications, just various different things, and that's where we decided maybe we should do it bi-monthly. And trying to talk about like is it best to do it at lunchtime, etc. I think another thing with Cumbrian culture is people do kind of switch off at 5 o'clock at night, and they don't really, you kind of, and it's good as well to have that balance. But other places, like my consultancy is based in Sheffield, and they have so many events in Sheffield and Leeds, like even to the point where there's more than one on a night, to do with like project management, business analysis.
Wow.
Lots like think tanks and all sorts going on. But I think in Cumbria it's not as the
common. Focus is different. I guess the more corporate, technical things tend to happen outside the county, don't they?
So I think that's why I thought I'll do it at lunchtime, and then people will be more likely to come along. So I've just been trying it out really at the moment. Like the bi-monthly and the virtual and the lunchtime, and just trying to see what suits people. What fits.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because just as a general thing up here, I've noticed I moved up from London, and my schedule was busy, like to the half an hour slot. And so it wasn't until COVID hit that I took the foot off a bit, and I thought, let's just make this a bit more flexible. And that's when I realised that actually a lot of my friends who are more, well, I've been here 16 years, but a lot of my friends tend to do is keep their weekends fairly flexible, whereas mine was jam-packed. And so I'd get messages saying, I knocked on your door, but you weren't in. And it's that kind of culture, which is really nice, actually. And once you kind of retrain your brain to be a bit more flexible and pack it in less, it does work really well. So it sounds good to sort of shake up that model and see what fits.
I think like since COVID, I think there was a lot of focus on the organisation that I was working with at the time. They had a real focus on like well-being and having that like work-life balance, and they actually as role modelled it from the top, having that 12 till 2 in your day actually is a no meeting time. And it was kind of, like you say, modelled from the top, so you knew that you could protect that time and have it safe, and really it's about encouraging you to go out for a walk, or actually take a lunch rather than having it at your desk.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that just having that time that you know in the day that you haven't got back-to-back meetings. So and then it's kind of continued on. Obviously now people are going back into hybrid working and things, but I think it's like you say, protecting that bit of time for yourself. Like I always try and make sure I get a walk at lunchtime, even if it is just 10 minutes.
Exactly.
It just helps to clear your mind.
It makes a difference, doesn't it? And I think also because we are so dependent on the weather. You have to be flexible or you'll never go out.
Definitely. You could go for weeks without going out, couldn't you?
Exactly. So that's always handy. So how did you get into business analysis, and how would you describe business analysis?
Good question. So I've been performing the role as business analyst with that title for 10 years, but I think I was actually doing it prior to that. I just didn't know about that's what it was called. So I've always been in IT and business change. I started off in testing, so user acceptance testing, so actually testing requirements and kind of the other end of the life cycle that I'm at the moment. But I've always really just been interested in working with people and helping people, and I did a lot of things like business process improvements and quality assurance. And it was all, before I got into the formal role of business analysis, it was all about improving like people, like the business or processes or ways of working. That's something I think I enjoy. And then a job came up as business analyst. It's actually a guy I was working with said, you'd be able to do that. It's like the type of stuff that you do and you enjoy. So I was like, I don't know what a business analyst does. So I looked into it and I looked at the job description and I was like, I've done all this type of stuff. That sounds good. So I applied for that and got that, and really enjoyed it. And then worked my way up to senior business analyst. And then I was kind of managing the team and helping to like build the BA capability. What services do they provide? So business analysis, if I summarise it in my terms, is really about helping businesses are helping people see where like inefficiencies are, or maybe where improvements could be made. But looking at it holistically, so thinking about like the popular, like people, processes, the organisation, information. So often, I've always worked in the IT kind of department. I know business analysts do work in other areas as well. So often the change is coming from because someone's implementing some tech, or they've seen some tech that they want. But I think business analysis is looking at it holistically to see, well, if we do implement that, what is the impact on all those things about people and processes and ways of working. Putting some kind of structure around that really, but obviously it's kind of things about capturing requirements, making sure that they're documented and captured, and that they're able to be then tested when it comes to it and built into the design of whatever solution it is that you're working with. It's looking at business process improvements, looking at business change, how it's going to impact people or the structure of the organisation. And being that kind of bridging that gap really between, I'm a bit of a translator sometimes, between the business and the project team. So knowing when to maybe dial it down on the technical information so that the customer, the end user understands, and then dialing it up if you're dealing with maybe like testers or just architects or people more on the techie one. So he's kind of been that middle person really, to see and to make sure that gets across. It's
quite a diplomatic role, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
trying to keep the peace.
Definitely. But I think it's evolved a lot over the years as well. And I think it's maybe not as well. Like I said, I didn't know about it till 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think even if I say now to my family, I'm a business analyst, I would just nod and smile and like, it's just something in business.
They don't actually want the answer because their eyes glaze over.
Yeah,
I've had that firsthand.
Yeah, no, I don't think my husband still understands what it is that I do. Just talk a lot to people, I think.
Yeah. Well, my journey was pretty similar to yours actually. So I started in testing as well.
Oh, okay.
And then moved over. At that time, it was called systems analysis.
Yeah.
And at that time, I went back to testing because our client, who shall remain nameless, decided not to pay for requirements.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That came back to bite.
Yeah. So, so I stayed in testing for a bit longer and then went back into analysis because actually I started on a graduate training program. Okay. And I was fixing bugs.
Yeah.
And the day that it all finally clicked and I was like, oh my goodness, I get it. So I cannot do this for the rest of my life. But that's the beauty of these training programs, isn't it? Definitely. You do get to try it out properly and work out where you fit best. And I think I just talk too much, Sinead.
I do talk a lot as well, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's evolving, isn't it, now as well? Like I said, I think people can specialise if they wanted to do more like development or architecture or like more down the technical route, or there's obviously things like user research and service designers, which I think have got transferable skills if people going from business analysis into that and vice versa. I think there's a lot more opportunities now and a lot more like definition around the roles and the practices. So I think it's quite loads of opportunities if you wanted to, like you think they say, I like doing this part of it. Yeah, you can kind of craft it a little bit more specific.
Yeah, definitely. And how do you find being part of the business analysis networks, like the big ones like IIBA?
Yes, I think that's where I kind of got the inspiration to do the Cumbrian network as well. So I first went to the IRM European BA conference. It's in London. It was 3 years ago now, and that's where I met. There's about 400 different business analysts there.
Yeah. No, that's okay. It's just, the noisy truck.
Like I say, over 400 BAs there, and lots of different tracks with loads of different topics and presentations, and hearing from different people, and kind of realised that because I'd already done business analysis in that one organisation I was at the time, realised there was this much bigger world out there, and that the BA community are really, they want to be like helpful, they're motivating. I always came away from those type of events really like enthused, and always had things to take away. So that's why I thought, well, I'll set up the BA Cumbria one, and we can hopefully have something, bottle a bit of that up, and have it on our doorstep rather than, like you say, having to travel to London or Manchester or wherever it might be.
I do find that a lot of BAs, just as a non-technical skill set, are just naturally much more empathetic.
Yeah,
and really are interested in making things better.
Yeah, I agree.
I always feel so fulfilled doing the role, because I feel like you are actually in a position where you could positively impact someone's daily life.
Yeah, definitely.
If you get it right. And I do always try and position it carefully, because obviously it's out of our hands to an extent what does get delivered.
Yeah.
But to kind of say, there is an opportunity here, and my job is to call them out.
Yeah.
And then hope that the weight goes in their favour.
Yeah. No, I think there's that job satisfaction with it, like you say, and if you can see a lot of people having some frustrations or a pain point, and hopefully you can see how that can be removed or improved, I think it is satisfying.
And
then the IIBA one, they do a lot of, and that's what I'm part of, helping organise now, like different events, again in person or webinars and speakers. And again, it's just having that people, a wider network to be able to reach out to or learn from.
Yeah.
And I think there's a really strong BA community.
Yeah.
Out there, especially since I've only really been on LinkedIn the last 2 years, I would say.
Yeah.
And I found that a really good place as well, like loads of knowledge and again people, and I think a lot of people do reach out to each other and, like you say, want to help each other.
Yeah.
Which I think's really positive.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to be part of the British Computer Society.
Yeah.
And then I stopped because I wasn't actually using my membership very well.
Yeah.
And so I thought I need to take a pause and take a think about how I want to network and what I want to gain from it.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's always been about job satisfaction, and I'm quite happy to fly under the radar, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not. I wasn't clear about what I wanted to get out of networking.
Yeah.
Whereas over the last couple of years, that's really shaped itself, and I've joined different networking groups, and I just think it's such a wholesome experience.
You think about meet a lot of like-minded people, don't you? And you find out about other things that are going on. Like since doing the Cumbria network, and I've done obviously some user research on which BAs in Cumbria, which organisations, and that's been really interesting finding out about all the different people, and I kind of learned from that there's, like I say, a bigger world than you realise. And it's been really interesting meeting some new people, and finding out about, I didn't realise that there was a BCS Cumbrian branch, which has been good with Stephen and Des. And then just other practices like Sarah at the Cumberland, where they've got quite large BA teams actually.
Oh, have they?
So it's interesting to connect with them and find out a bit about how they're doing things.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds. Yeah, I didn't realise the Cumberland had a big BA presence.
Yeah, I think it's in the 20s.
Oh, wow. Mm. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's like a whole hidden society.
Exactly, yeah. And it's been really intriguing finding out about all these. Yeah. And obviously there's people like ourselves that are, maybe consultants or like loan workers. Yeah. Working with other organisations, but there's also some bigger companies out there as well.
Yeah.
So it's been nice to connect with those and feel part of a community.
Yeah.
Kind of combining the passions of business analysis and people and Cumbria all together.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great because actually in Cumbria there's so many hidden talents.
Yeah.
and actually not many people want to scream about it. They're kind of like hiding in the fells.
Yeah, I think
do their thing.
Yeah, it's not. I think as well. It's like you say about that corporate community, Cumbria necessarily. They've obviously got some big organisations, but kind of very rural as well. Like I used to work for DEFRA, the Rural Payments Agency. Yeah. So I think it's it is a different culture and lifestyle, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's definitely a lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, I am like a hermit sometimes, and I
Yeah.
quite like it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of really happy in my little cave.
Yeah, but then how nice is it to like 20 minutes ago and wait to be somewhere like this to do with the lake and the mountains? And
yeah,
I'm surprised it's not busy actually.
We're
holidays,
early.
but it is early.
We are early. For a change, I was on time.
But no, it is very picturesque, isn't it?
It is. It's stunning. And Derwent Water is actually one of my favourites. It's just so beautiful, especially when you get a still day, sort of like today, where you can see the reflection so perfectly. Beautiful. Yeah. There's no place like it, Sinead.
There isn't. We take it for granted sometimes.
We do, don't we? Yeah. And where you are is also beautiful because you're on the coast.
Yes, I'm like 5 minutes from the shore, which is really nice. And I think I find the sea quite calming as well. So I'm going to go for like lunchtime walks. I sometimes often go to the sea because I think that's really calming as well and nice.
I find that I do my best thinking when I'm walking.
Yeah, not even intentionally sometimes. You see, like if you solve a problem that you didn't even realise you were doing in your head, and you're like, oh yeah, I can approach it that way.
Yeah, exactly. If you're sat at your desk, you don't think laterally. You kind of think in a very linear fashion, I think.
Definitely.
And then you get into a Google trap, and then the day's gone.
Yeah, definitely.
So have you always lived in Cumbria?
I haven't. I actually was born and lived in West Yorkshire for.
Did you?
I moved just before I was 5, so don't remember that much. I don't think I've kept my accent much. But no, we moved up here then, and then I've been in West Cumbria for. I won't give away my age, but the rest of the time.
Oh, don't worry. I've just turned 45 and I've been reflecting on my career and thinking, goodness, it's actually been really great.
Yeah.
I've been really lucky. And I've been really lucky to do something or fall into something really that I really enjoy, and been really lucky to work with some really, really talented people.
Yeah.
I think shape some really great programs.
That's the thing about the business analysis, and I don't know if you're familiar with the BA Skill Day initiative from last year, but I think it's a profession that a lot of people have fallen into by accident. Like so either they weren't aware of it or they didn't realise that that's what they were been doing
anyway.
And I think over the last few years it's becoming more well known. But there was Christina and Adrian set up this BA Skill Day initiative where it's actually trying to stop that being accidental and being more
intentional career choices.
And we've got a lot of entry level opportunities and apprentices that we can do, and actually going out into schools and educating and that knowledge awareness from a young age, that they can actually choose it as a career rather than stumbling over it by accident.
Yeah, well, I think as an industry we fell into it by accident because it was driven out of need.
Definitely.
And so many projects were being built and solutions built without understanding the problem.
Yeah, and then that costs more time and effort and resources to fix straight down.
And money.
Isn't it? Yeah, definitely.
It's always money. But it's really fascinating, and actually the downstream impact on actual humans is what has not previously been considered.
Yeah.
And there is a real mental health toll for some of this stuff.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, people can get really stressed about, concerned about if you're going to bring in, probably in the same in shops when they brought in the self-service tills and things, isn't it? People get obviously quite worried about, is the job threatened or their role threatened, or they might enjoy their job and then it's going to change significantly. Yeah. So there's a big psychological part of change, isn't there?
Is it 10 years ago or so? No, maybe more than that. It's been so long. I've been working for 25 years in this job, which is really great. I am really lucky about that. We did a change, it must have been over 10 years ago, but even then I was shocked because we were transitioning a whole business away from a blue screen system. Oh my goodness, Sinead. Like, change is difficult to accept anyway, but that was a leap.
Yeah.
And, the operators were used to using their keyboards and F1s, F2s and tab buttons. And then we're bringing a mouse in.
Yeah, and now it's all touch screen.
Yes, such a culture change. I had people crying in UAT.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was just that human impact is so underestimated.
Yeah.
And we need to, over time, I think it has got better.
Yeah.
But there is a real toll.
Yeah. I think so there's that big like generational shift as well.
Yeah.
So you think of your QWERTY keyboard, and then a lot of Gen Z will be won't even have used a keyboard or a typewriter, so they won't even be able to relate to that. And then
never mind a pen.
Yeah. So
I mean, I look horrified when people give me a pen. I'm like, you want me to actually sign it?
So it'd be like kind of almost a skills potential gap, or something you need to address, isn't it, about people's abilities and
and it shouldn't preclude them from
definitely
participating in these things, but there is a real genuine fear factor that needs to be considered.
Definitely.
I find it fascinating. So what do you think about all these techniques and exams and things?
Yeah, so I've done the BCS International Diploma. I'd started that when I first got my BA job, so I found it really helped me because it gave me some foundations and it kind of gave me, I suppose, like industry best practice.
Yeah,
you
it is
always,
important.
Yeah, I think it's not always able to then go back and apply it straight away, but at least you knew what was kind of the industry standard.
And the thinking. And
yes, I think it was good for given that obviously there's the BA toolkit is huge, there's hundreds of tools and techniques, and it's a case of sometimes trying it out and see if it works, trial and error, and then knowing when to using your own, I suppose, knowledge and experience and discretion of when something would be applicable, depending on like the scale and the complexity and the scope of what you're doing. But no, I think I would encourage people to do the qualifications, but something I've been asked before is about doing it before you become a BA, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, because it's a bit like learning to drive and then not driving a car for a couple of years. You probably forget a lot of things. So I think it's good if you're doing it and then being able to apply it into practice.
I agree completely. And I have this internal debate all the time about, I had a very average academic career, and I think a lot of that was because I wasn't applying anything, and it was just boring.
If you don't use it, you lose it.
And then I just wasn't interested. Who cares if I get an A or a B? Like, I'm not interested. But as soon as I started working, it just all made sense. And I was like so motivated and so interested and hungry for more. Definitely. And so part of me thinks, well, all of me believes that I should have really just done an apprenticeship.
Yes, like I said, I think I had a similar academic background. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I did do business studies at A-level, and I really enjoyed that. But when I left A-level, I wasn't sure what it was that I wanted to do, and I just got into a job, tried to get my testing job, and then went from there. And I've done, like you say, qualification as well. And so I think, looking back, that would have been really suited for myself as well. And I think that's the thing with qualifications. Like, I wouldn't just think about, I'll go on this course and then I can say I've got this certificate. I think it has to be relevant, and you have to think about how that would apply to what you're doing.
And it's more than just the technical, isn't it? Because I've done so many things in my own time on softer skills and interpersonal skills, and I think one of the things that fills me with joy is that when I talk to some of my friends who have kids now, they go to some really forward-thinking schools where they're actually more interested in their kids' self-awareness and understanding who they are and what they're about. And when I was in school, it wasn't about that. It was just about, you're in the system and individuality is not important. But the scores are
I think I agree. I think that is a shift that's happened over the last maybe 10 or so years, hasn't it? And like I said, I think the awareness of mental health and well-being as well has come a lot more. People are a lot more aware of it, and there's just different, obviously, training and support in that area as well.
Well, you can see it in the Gen Zers, because they are so much more aware of how they want to live their lives, who they are, what they're willing, where their boundaries are. And like, I had no boundaries because I just did what I was told,
Yeah, true.
regardless of the impact to me personally.
Yeah.
So
I think there's another cultural change that's happened as well. With, I think it used to be that you would get a job in a business and organisation and either stay there or work your way up and be there for 20, 30 years. And that kind of loyalty, you get a watch or whatever.
Yeah, your clock or
look good on your CV. Whereas and it would probably look bad if you'd had several jobs. Whereas I think now, especially with like 0-hour contracts and with the Gen Z, it's probably much more different for them because it doesn't look negative, I don't think, anymore.
No.
It shows experience and you've got different sectors and different organisations, and I think that used to be something that was drilled into your head about go somewhere, get a job, that's your job for life.
It forever.
Yeah.
That felt like a death sentence to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I really like doing it on a consultancy basis because I don't like the operational day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
I like doing, the exciting, sexy bit.
Yeah, definitely.
If you can call the process model sexy, I don't know. But to me, it feels like art.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I'm also very aware that there are things I'm good at and there are limitations. And yes, we have got 99 plus techniques, but in reality, I think most people use 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And that's the comfort zone techniques.
Agree. Yeah, or maybe sometimes I think that's maybe like institutionalised as well, depending on where you are. They might be like, oh, you shall use physio, or you shall use this, and it kind of limits you that way.
And Death by Excel.
Yeah, and PowerPoint.
Yeah. PowerPoint. When did that happen?
Yeah.
It drives me mad. Thanks.
Thank you.
It's one of my pet hates, and anyone who's worked with me has heard this rant about, some things need to be in a document.
Yes.
They are not a slide pack.
No.
The slide pack is meant to be high level and short.
It's a lot more.
It makes me feel like crying, actually. I really hate it.
But as somebody that's in receipt of it as well, you don't want to sit and go through 35 slides, do you? But
it's the wrong format.
Yeah, there's a lot more about storytelling now, isn't there? And maybe using your slides as like a prompt or a visual.
Yeah.
I did go to one of the sessions, I think it was last year's BA conference, and it was saying about, like you're saying, if it's really wordy, it probably doesn't need to be in a slide pack. It should be a handout that you give to people.
In fact, people should be penalised.
Points deducted. Because, no one wants to, no one can physically sit and read it and take it all in. Your attention span's gone.
No.
And like I say, as someone who's delivering it and as someone who's receiving it, it's just not fun for anybody.
No. And you need detail. You can't get away from it. You need detail, and then you can lift it up or, break it down how you want. But without that foundation, like, what are you working from?
Yeah,
detail really winds me up.
There's some message you want to get across. That's fine, but then keep the 20-page document for your own light reading later on.
Yeah, and there's a place for it, isn't there? And I do appreciate that. Because of social media, because of the way we live our daily lives. It is getting harder from an attention span perspective for younger generations to sit down and read a weighty document.
Yeah, it's not something they used to.
No.
Like before Agile, we obviously used to do massive user requirement specifications, which should be 50 pages long, and
quite
go into all the detail, and people would sit and go through it in that much detail. And now obviously you've got a lot more flexible and Agile work, and it'd be just doing a little bit at a time and building on it. But it used to be massive. We used to use huge detailed documents that probably then would get shelves.
Yeah. Well, I've worked for a lot of clients who don't have a tool set in place, and I tend to be more along the strategic analysis path now, and so it's before any of that's arrived. And so what I do still write the meaty documents, but I break them down so that really good example is something we did last year, and the permanent business analyst was awesome, and Stephen, shout out to Stephen. He and I dovetailed really well together because he was sort of doing the what's it called? Yeah, if you take pictures, it's really stunning. I don't want to screw up the recording, which is still working, by the way. We dovetailed really well. So when I did my sort of strategic document, he could then pull that into his tool set, and I formatted it in a user story manner.
Yeah.
And shaped the processes in that way, so they were able to dovetail it into the tool set, and that worked really well. And he said his feedback was actually it saved time in the agile process because they had a starting point, and then they could elaborate what they needed to and break things down further if they needed to. So it was actually quite a good compliment set. So I think for the last, well, I've never worked anywhere that's fully agile.
No,
I mean they have agile set up really well, but it's always been wagile.
Definitely, yeah. No, so I've got the same experience. I think there's some of the intentions there, and they like the idea of the doing iterations and failing fast, etc. But I think still not 100% able to, either because of approval and governance processes, or just the people aren't in that kind of mindset, possibly. But
I think you're right. I think the full end-to-end of inception of a program or the need for a program is sort of born, and then we decide we're going to have, I don't know, a massive 5 million program, 20 million program pounds, and we've got 10 projects within that. But a business analyst hasn't been involved in that.
No.
And that is such a oversight.
Yeah.
And the reason your
need all that.
Exactly. And the reason your projects are then overlapping and dependent is because it's not been scoped strategically from it has, I'm not disparaging anyone's work, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, there is a strategy behind it, but if you don't have the business analyst working on it, I think sometimes it's seen as like, oh, what are you doing? And I've had people try and treat me like a secretary.
Yeah, like just taking notes, or just gather the requirements, like go and get them and put them in a basket.
Yeah, exactly.
Or we could do our own, as far as our own.
But I think the whole analysis bit is completely misunderstood.
Definitely.
That we're not just there to take notes, we're actually analysing the output of what you're saying and making sense of it and pulling it together.
That's something that I've been working on actually with my current client, and actually that's what my talk is this year at the conference.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, I've done it in my previous organisation as well. It's actually creating and implementing a BA service definition, so actually documenting what it is that the BAs do and what value do they add. What is it that you would expect? Because really, business analysts are providing like an internal service often to the business rather than maybe external customers. So it's looking at it as delivering a service, that the BAs are delivering a service. And actually setting your stall out to say, this is what the BAs do, this is what the deliverables are, this is what the outcomes are, this is the value that will add. And it helps the BAs themselves, because that gives them some clarity on kind of their role and responsibilities and their boundaries, and they can be used as a bit of a challenge if someone just asks them to take notes or do something that's not necessarily BA. They can be like, well, actually that's not something part of our services. And then it helps with those wider discussions about when to get a BA involved. Like I say, sometimes it's often too late, either they get them in at the requirement stage or sometimes even later, and actually like you say, they could be really helpful at the strategic stage or the options analysis or feasibility. So it's about really defining it and using it as a communications tool, but also just providing that clarity, because I think there is an issue around, like you said, that ambiguity about what do they do, and because it differs from different organisations, like you say, people use different techniques, different tools, and depending on what other roles, adjacent roles exist, like service designers or user researchers or testers. BAs might take on more or might do less. So I think it's just really good to have it documented and communicated. This is exactly at this organisation, this is what the BAs do, and this is what you can expect. So the talk I'm delivering with the head of BA at Cambridge Uni Caris. We're just,
that's exciting.
So we're doing a collab. And we're just going to talk through our bit of a case study, really, our journey, from some of the reasons why Caris wanted to do it, and then how we went about defining it and then implementing it. So
that's amazing.
September.
So when's the book launching?
Well, there is already a very good book from Christina on delivering business analysis. But yeah,
I'll be expecting something in like 26, maybe.
No, I have. Definitely. This last year has been quite. A bit bold, but transformational, really in terms of like pushing myself out of my comfort zone. I think since leaving that large organisation that I'd worked at for 10 years and going into the world of consulting, it has opened up a lot of opportunities. And then I've done podcasts with yourself and with Bando, and I've done a user panel and got a couple of blogs, and then I've been doing these events for the volunteering for the different communities. So I've done quite
get your name
a
out
lot.
There.
Name out there, but just kind of pushing my own like boundaries really of like being scared but doing it scared rather than like, oh, I'm not going to do that because what if people don't like what I'm talking about, or they think I don't know what I'm talking about, and it's kind of just like ignoring that and doing it anyway. So it's
you need to switch that voice up.
I think it's like learning about yourself and your own limits, and again, what do you enjoy, and
if you don't try it, you're never going to know.
Exactly,
and there's always going to be that what if, and that what if is actually really grating and loud.
So this the first time I was speaking at a conference. I'll find out whether that's something I want to do again. I'll let you know in September.
It's really exciting.
But I really enjoyed other people's. I've always, like I said, found it really insightful and taken away, so hopefully other people can take something away from this one. But
that's really
new.
Well, we'll look forward to the update on that in September. What date is it in September?
Well, the conference runs from the 16th to the 18th, and I'm on in the middle on the Tuesday, which is quite an awkward time. It's at 5 o'clock, which is the last session of the day, and it's right before the free drinks. So it's a good or a bad thing, keeping people from the networking event.
The worst one is always after lunch, isn't it?
Yeah,
like the graveyard shift.
We're tired from the full bellies.
It's actually a better workworkshop slot.
Yeah, so this is
get people doing something.
Yeah, it's the last session of the day. Yeah, but it's people will hopefully be staying around because they're getting the networking session. Yeah, but it doesn't mean I have to be nervous all day.
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, but also like because it's the last session, I think it helps with the networking, doesn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, I can come and listen to my talk, and then I can enjoy the next day. I love doing it then.
You'll sleep well that night.
But no, I am looking forward to it. Like I say, I think I did do a blog about leaving your comfort zone, and it's about how you don't learn and you don't develop yourself while you're in your comfort zone. So it's good to push yourself out of it and feel uncomfortable sometimes.
Get that sort of adrenaline going. Exactly. Feel a bit sick. I always feel a bit sick before I do anything public, and then it's fine.
And then you find you enjoy it. It's really great. It goes really well. But I think that's good, isn't it, to be like nervous and things. It is, because it means that
you are interested.
I think that's the same with work as well, business analysis. I think when people are dealing with implementing change, and often you do face a lot of resistance. And people will be sometimes get a bit frustrated, or angry. Or upset, like you were saying before when you had somebody upset, but it kind of shows that they care. So in a way it's like, well, I'll work with these people because they've actually got, with some passion about it, or they actually want to make some improvements. So it shows that you actually, do care.
Interested, which is half the battle really, because I think the more challenging projects are the ones where you're struggling for engagement.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And finding techniques around that. But that's a whole other podcast. That can go in your book. That can be a chapter.
Dedicate that one to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. So what do you do outside of working?
So I've got 2 young children, a boy and a girl, 5 and 6, so they keep me busy. I did buy a paddleboard last year.
Did you?
So, which was quite fun, but I've not had...
do you stand or sit?
I've started sitting, and then I build up my courage to stand and have a bit a wobble on. But I've got a big one so that I could put the kids on as well.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't used it as much as I'd like. But obviously, I don't know the weather this summer, so I like to try and do that in the summer months. try and keep fit with walking, and we've got like a home gym, so I'm trying to do that this morning at 6:30.
Oh, that's good. I did make it this morning.
Again, I think it's good for your mental health and
definitely.
and
I'm a massive gym person. I love exercise, which is really odd, because if you take things back to like, well, no, it's not odd, because actually, if I think about the history of my life, which we won't go into, don't worry.
Another one,
another one. Walking has always been in my life.
Yeah.
I used to walk to school and back, which was like 3 miles.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
For A-levels, and then when I lived in London, I was walking everywhere.
Yeah.
Then I moved up here, and I put on loads of weight.
And you're in the fells.
I was driving everywhere.
Yeah, because of the public transport.
Yeah.
So poor, isn't it?
And I wasn't used to felt walking. I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah.
Because when you grow up in East London and you live in a city, it's not even a thing. Like, why would anyone do that?
Just look at it.
Wow, that was a loud one. So actually exercise has always been there, but because it has been integrated, I didn't notice it. But when I stopped and I gained weight, and my mood was off, everything was off, and then COVID hit, and it was a good reset, and I got back into it, and I'm quite an extreme sort of character, and so I threw myself into it. And then it was like trying to then bring that down to a normal sort of pace to fit into working again. So it wasn't an all or nothing scenario.
I think that's it's like with me, sometimes it's fitting, like you say, into your, making it a habit, isn't it, and fitting into a schedule, because I was thinking I like it to like night time, and we've got the kids have got their activities, and they play taxi, and you're just tired and you haven't got the energy. So especially now it's been later mornings, I've been trying to integrate it into my morning routine before the kids get up, and then it also sets me up for the day. I feel good, and then I know I've done it.
I'm really smug on my morning calls. I'm always like,
have you done already by 8 o'clock?
I'm that person. I'm like, I've been to the gym, I've got back, just wash my hair, that's why it's wet.
I'm definitely the same. I am a morning person as well. I definitely have my energy in the morning, and I prefer to do meetings and things in the morning, because like you say, come 2 o'clock onwards, I'm starting on that like energy dip.
I have to say, I think I'm an all-day person.
Oh, wow.
I am really irritating. But I think a lot of that is if I miss my slot. So if I decide I'm going to the gym at 7, and then it's 7:04, then I can't go. I'm just like, oh my god, no, I'm off the track. And then that whole thing plays on my brain the whole day. And so sometimes it'll be like, right, it's 11:30, I'm going to go now. So it's like, and so because I work with a PT, she's now changed my program. So each bit fits into a half an hour slot, because I'm so inflexible. I'm like, I work in half an hour slots. If it's 45 minutes, then it's messed up the next slot, and I can't cope.
Do like lunch or something. No, I think I'm going to do about half an hour, to be fair. It's enough, isn't it?
It is half an hour a day, and then I'll do some cardio. So it just depends on the day, if I do the cardio straight after, or if I go for a walk after work, or if it's pouring it down, I might go back to the gym. So
and then other than that, I don't really have any particular hobbies. I do enjoy cooking and baking. Used to make quite a few like cupcakes and things.
Oh, that's cool.
But I don't get as much time now, and I've dabbled with doing the kids' birthday cakes and things, but I just get too stressed. But I like doing it. If there's no pressure on, I like just doing it. But
there's too much Instagram pressure for that stuff now. I don't envy parents.
And even like
the perfect birthdays.
Instagram or something, people like, I'm just a hobby baker, and then there's like immaculate 10-tier cake, and you're like, you're not really
with the suspended can of juice pouring into it or whatever.
Did this for my daughter's birthday. I'm like, not at that standard.
No,
I just enjoy it. So I try and make.
If it doesn't taste eggy in my world, we're doing well.
So I quite enjoy it.
Good.
But like again, normally just for no reason, rather than doing it for like an occasion or something. And the pressure's up. I like a bit of reading, but I've not really got anything like strong, probably hobbies really.
No. Well, that's a lot considering what else you
and
do.
Then, the kids have got all their like gymnastics, judo, football, rugby, whatever. So it's really just
and their birthday party, social life.
They get them more and more. I've actually started using Duolingo as well at the start of the year. So I've been learning Spanish.
Oh, have you? That's good.
So I'm on something like 180-day streak.
Oh,
now,
wow, that's amazing.
You don't want to lose that streak. So
I lost mine at 50.
Oh, so I just try even just like 10-15 minutes a day. I find rather than like aimlessly scrolling on Facebook. I think I use 10-15 minutes on there and I feel like I'm learning something. So
that's great.
Good.
Yeah, I did Duolingo and then I went to Italy. Absolutely useless. I was like, I cannot do anything without the app. I need the little man to ask me a question.
I think I'd be like that. Although if I have a few drinks, I start thinking I can be fluent and I'm like, I'll drop the odd word in.
I was absolutely crap at it, so I just stopped doing it in the end.
You realise more than you do. Like, you know, probably pick up the odd, maybe a word or something.
I don't know, I think you're being very kind. I don't carry the same optimism.
Both my parents can speak fluent Spanish. I think it's the South American version.
Okay.
And I'm like, why did you never teach us? And I was like, I'm just going to do it myself.
Do it yourself,
It's good, like the kids are always like, you did any Spanish today, Mum?
So that's sweet.
They know that I'm doing it as well.
That's really sweet. And it is a useful language for where we live.
Yeah, there's a lot of holiday destinations. Spanish, don't they? They do French at school, don't they? My little boy's going into juniors and he's going to start learning French, but I tend to learn more like Spanish countries, don't you?
Yeah, I did German, and during my GCSE oral exam I started talking about, I don't know, like something really stupid and random, and my teacher was looking at me like, what are you doing? And I was looking back at her going, I don't know, it's a runaway train now, we're on it.
Yeah, just let me go with it.
It was very funny,
isn't it?
Oh yeah, the sun is glorious.
Beautiful.
So, are you working today?
I am, yes. I work very flexible, which is really
that's
good.
Great.
Especially during the school holidays. But no, my company are really good that way.
Yeah, that's great.
So I just took a bit of time out this morning to do this.
Which is really nice, that's really nice. Thank you.
I think that helps as well with your like mental load for the day.
It does.
Kind of break it up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Enjoy this, isn't it? It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a travesty to not do this. To not be out especially when the weather's like this.
Definitely.
Like work is not going anywhere.
I've actually come to Keswick so many times and I've never actually done this route.
You're not?
No. I just have a new one that I can do when I come again. So
it's very rare that I take people somewhere new. So that's nice to know.
Yes, that's nice now to have somewhere else to try.
Yeah. Having said that, no, that's a lie. There are a few people I've taken on they're my usual routes.
Yeah.
But they're new to other people, so that's nice.
Yeah. No,
but I always think like my routes are so basic. I'm like definitely the tourist route person.
Stick to what you know.
Exactly.
I'm terrible for getting like lost. Like I've done it once and I think I know it. And I'm like, this way, and I'm like, oh no, it's not. And then I'm always getting me and my husband lost. And try and do a late walk or something.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about heading towards Whitehaven one Saturday because they've got a market, haven't they?
Yeah.
And there's a lady who runs a dosa truck, South Indian food.
Oh.
And she seems to be building up quite a strong following because she's so consistent with it. And I love dosa. It's like, do you know what dosa is?
No.
It's like I guess the best equivalent is a rice-based pancake.
Oh, okay.
Crepe.
Yeah.
But it gets crunchy around the edges. Oh my God, it's delicious.
There was a continental market in Whitehaven a couple of weeks ago, and there was loads of kind of like street food vans doing lots of different food. But most of it had sold out by the time we got there.
Oh, really? Wow.
Really well. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, we have the, in Bowness, we have the Sunday market now, every Sunday. And over summer, they're doing Sunday and Monday, which is great for the traders.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I popped in, what day are we on? Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I popped in on Monday and it was raining. So, it was a bit quiet, but And that's the dedication, isn't it? I just really admire people that do that.
Yeah, well, I was just talking to that living statue before.
Oh, yeah.
He was talking to me and he was saying about yesterday was a really good day, but obviously the weather does make a big impact to him as well. But he's been doing it for 7 years.
Wow.
And it's a full-time job and he really enjoys it.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I'd get bored after like half an hour.
I was saying it takes a lot of patience and focus because obviously you just got to be still for so long, but he said he just really like zones in and like concentrates.
Quite meditative. Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, really impressive. Cool. So what's the next, apart from prepping for your big event in September, what's next on the horizon for Sinead Enterprises?
Yeah, good question. I haven't actually given it much thought, actually, to be honest. Let's have a quick think. No, I'm just still spot. Yeah, no. No, it is good to have some planning in it. I should really plan. But obviously, I'm trying to build the BA network as well, and hope to get some more events kind of going with that. We pick people up and have like maybe some guest speakers or people that can run with things.
Yeah,
so maybe having some more like events with that.
I think it'd be quite good to see like techniques in action. Yeah, to encourage people to use more than.
Yeah, it'd be good. Let's talk
more
about
than not really. I only know 3.
Maybe we could have a session where we all, like a good old post-it note one where we all say what techniques we use. It'd be interesting to find out if there's much variation, and then maybe suggesting some new ones.
You could do just a poll.
Yeah,
I think it'll be quite quick.
Yeah, a mess and there'll be that'd be a good. But actually, I think it'd be good to know what other people are using. And then if there is some in there that maybe not everyone's using. Then we can explore that. Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you. I'll add that to the agenda.
You're welcome.
But no, I haven't really thought much else about. To be honest, I've been quite fortunate. Same with like coming into my roles that I've done. I don't tend to intentionally say, right, I'm going to go consulting or whatever. This kind of opportunities just I care and I just go with them.
You're attracting them. That's how I like to think of it.
I don't I don't very often kind of intentionally think, right, I'm going to, even though the BA network was kind of just a bit of an idea, I was like, I'll find out if there's any in there, and I thought, well, there isn't any. Oh, I'll create one. But it was wasn't really a big long thought out. I just did a bit of put some feelers out and said if there were any interest, and it seemed there would be, and then like just went from there. But probably not much of a planner and kind of I just kind of go with the flow and like you say, if opportunity arises, and I normally go with it. But
and it's working.
Seems to be. So that's good.
I found your BA network by accident.
Oh, okay.
I think someone in my network shared something. And that's how
I think it was Maxine. You previously worked with Maxine.
I had worked with Maxine before.
I
think it was James Everington.
Oh, right,
from the Nottingham.
That's good. It's good to have, like, as I say, a lot of it will be like word of mouth or sharing things, isn't it? It'll be the same for getting your podcast.
Thanks for sharing. That was so lovely.
Nice to help and support, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I mean, I kind of feel like podcasts are so hit and miss anyway. I'm doing it because I just love people. And I'm nosy and I want to know about people's stories. And you just never know, like that one story might be exactly what someone needs that day.
They are inspiring. I think podcasts are really good. Like you say, if you do our walk, like travelling in the car or the train or something, you can I often just like stick a podcast on. So it can be half an hour or an hour or something. They're quite handy, like to be doing, again, fit in with your day and what you're doing, isn't it? It's quite a good format, I think.
And if you find the right one, even if it's like halfway through or more than halfway through, you find that 1 minute of a nugget that is going to resonate with you and think, actually, I'm normal. This is
just
okay.
Me that does that or something, or feels that way.
And sometimes you need that because you can just get lost in your head and think, oh my God, I'm not normal. And what is normal?
And like
anyway?
I say, with this, Insta versus reality. What people portray versus what's reality.
Exactly.
It's nice to have some honest and open
exactly.
Yeah, so how did you go about thinking about you'll do your own channel?
Well, it was kind of, it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I thought, with my day job, I actually interrogate people all the time, but it feels like a conversation, and it doesn't feel like a hostage situation. It's very much just tell me whatever you feel like telling me today, and then if I need more information, I'll come back to you. But obviously in a much more professional, structured manner. And and I just really enjoy it. And I think when you connect with someone's personality, it's so enriching, and people are just joy givers. Some people not so much, but even then, there's always something you can take away from that experience. And so I thought, well, it'd be a good challenge. So, like you were saying, push your comfort zones. It'll be a good challenge to do something, because I've always done everything so privately to a certain point, and I thought, I don't know why. Do I know why? I don't know. I'm just not interested in the attention. So I've never shared a thing to say I've started a new job. And I've had a LinkedIn account for as long as I've been working. So it's quite nice to look back on that sort of history. But then I see other people posting stuff, and I think, oh, that's great. They've just started this job. Congratulations. And I thought, well, and then, so what happened since then? So I thought, right, I'm going to push myself and do something that's a bit aligned to what I do anyway. Home in those skills, and see where it goes. And if I get a good following, that's nice. But the main thing is really connecting with people. It's not really about chasing numbers. And I'm part of the Pink Link network.
So you talked about that.
And so they did a spotlight.
That's where I saw you do it from.
And I felt really uncomfortable. And I was like, oh no. And I knew they were going to do it, because obviously they asked me. And then I thought, right, I need to. So when they asked me, I thought, right, I'm just going to put it all out there. I'm just going to do it. And then as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I feel really uncomfortable. I feel really sick.
As I saw it, and I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. And I brought you to come and talk about it. The network, which probably now knowing that.
No, which was perfect, because that was the point. But it was really interesting to go through those emotions, because actually I don't celebrate anything. I don't put it out there. So that was a really interesting process for me to go through, and but it was really lovely as well. And actually, there's nothing wrong with celebrating your success, and it isn't showing off, and it isn't being arrogant. It's just kind of owning what you're doing.
Definitely,
and that's okay. That's so cute. So it kind of timing wise built up naturally from there. So that's quite good.
Good.
So hopefully the whole communication skills, interpersonal skills, interview skills. I haven't asked anyone 5 whys. I've not gone down that route.
Some techniques. How often are you going to be releasing them? Is it weekly or monthly?
I'm not sure yet. So I was going for 8 for series 1. I think we're going to have 10. So that's really exciting.
That's good.
There's been a lot of excitement, and
that's good.
And it's really nice that there are people in my network who really want to engage and share their stories, like yourself. So it's really nice. So I think we're going for 10. So the next thing I'll be working on is, because I am a planner.
I am at work, but for some reason in my own personal life, I'm opposite.
I'm like, I have a 5-year plan, I have a 10-year plan. I always have a plan for everything, even if it changes. There's a guideline. So I'm gonna have a launch party.
Oh, very good.
Any excuse. So I'm just working out a date, and then a date for the actual launch of the podcast.
That's exciting.
And then see where we go from there. Well, thanks, Sinead.
No problem. It's been a pleasure.
It's been really fun, and actually we got sunshine.
I know, and what a lovely scenic route it was as well.
It really was, really pretty. So thank you for your input.
No problem.
I'll send the minutes afterwards. You can improve them. And yeah, good luck with your conference. I'm really excited about that.
No, thank you very much. I'll let you know, and good luck with your podcast.
Thank you. And that wraps up today's episode of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed our walk as much as we did around the beautiful Derwent Water on this sunny day. We talked about so much, from the challenges of juggling full-time work with motherhood to Sinead's incredible volunteer work with the International Institute of Business Analysis and setting up the Cumbria BA network. Where she gets her energy from, I do not know. We geeked out on all things business analysis, sharing our thoughts on the human impact of introducing changes across businesses, and of course a good rant about the frustrations of using suitable tools for the job. Sinead's passion for business analysis really shone through, and like a true BA, she even turned some of the questions back on me. Very sneaky, Sinead. I saw what you were doing. Thank you so much, Sinead, for joining me today on this lovely walk, and I've really enjoyed learning so much more about you. And thank you to our listeners for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please do share your thoughts on our social media channels, tell your friends, and be sure to come back for the next episode. Until then, keep exploring!